Shalom, shalom, shalom. Peace and glory, everybody. Tonight we're going to do a little talking about Ephesians chapter 2. Wait to see if anybody going to come on, but if not, we still going to break it down. I like to give thanks and glory and praise to the Most High, Yahweh, and to the Messiah, Yahweh Shai, and to Salt of the Earth, my brothers and my sisters, Sister Jill on here with me. I'd like to give thanks to each and all of y'all that be in the chat. And Sister Jill, got anything you want to say?
Shalom.
All right. So, all right. Shalom, Optimus Training, Albany, Georgia. Shalom. Brother Ebry, I sent you the link, brother. You going to come on with us? Shalom, shalom. Sister Treva and Keisha. Shalom, shalom. I sent Brother Eva the link. I hope he come on. So the topic tonight, we're going to break down Ephesians chapter 2. We're going to do a scripture connection. We're going to connect the scriptures. We're going to see what that prophecy in Ephesians chapter 2, where it comes from. We're going to see who is Ephesians chapter 2 talking about. Now, we can see when we look at Ephesians chapter 2, of course, it says Gentiles. But because it said Gentiles, we got to understand what the word Gentiles means. When you look it up in the Strong's G, please do, or if you look it up in Hebrew, or if you look it up even in the English language, look it up in all three. It's going to tell you a non-Israelite or a people belonging to the same nation. All it means is nation of people, a nation. Just like we say, we call ourselves black. We're a black nation. Or people call, let's say it like this. The European nation, Chinese, the China, the Asian nations, you put them all together. So all Gentile means is nation. Shalom, shalom, Demetri. So this one of the things that I want a lot of people to understand, that Gentile means nation. So when you look at the word Gentile, if you go to Genesis chapter 10, I'm not going to go there tonight, but please do if you don't believe me. Genesis chapter 10, when you look, one of the first sons of Noah, talk about Japhet. It says the isles of the Gentiles. So you can see the deception there. Why would it call them the isles of the Gentile? Because we know the Japhet supposed to be the European nation. So you notice deception there. And we're going to see in the book of Romans that you see the deception again. Because the book of Romans, when Paul is Romans 9, 25 and 26, he's coming from somewhere. Shalom, shalom, Yashadi. I'm going to put the link in the chat if you want to come in. But we're going to see that Paul is coming from Hosea chapter 2. But when you read Romans 9, you're going to see the difference, what I'm talking about. You're going to see where the deception is there. Shalom, shalom, Sister Rachel. Shalom. So, are you ready, Sister Jill?
I'm ready.
I know, look, I get on her nerves. I know I do. She called me a lion. She said, I'll be like, rah, rah, rah. But sometimes I get like that. I need to calm down. Say what now?
Bold as a lion.
You're right. I agree. Sometimes I need to calm down because I get too excited, and I want our people to get this. And sometimes I can get just, I can get out of place, and I need to learn how to calm down. And So if I did that to anybody, I apologize. And I really see, 'cause I have a lot of, especially when it comes to the sister. You ain't talking to me that way. All right, now. So let's go to Ephesians chapter 2, start at verse 11 to 22. So you going to read that for me, Sister Jill?
Yes.
All right.
Let's see. I want to make sure. You want me to do the King James?
Yeah, do the King James.
Okay. Let's see. Wherefore remember that ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands, that at that time ye were without Yahusha, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel, and strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope and without Yah in the world. But now in Yahusha, ye who sometimes were far off, made nigh by the blood of Yahusha, for he is our shalom, who has made both one and has broken down the middle wall of partition between us, having abolished in his flesh the enmity, even the law of commandments contained in ordinances, for to make in himself of twain one new man, so making peace, and that he might reconcile both unto Yah in one body by the cross, by the tree, having slain the enmity thereby, and came and preached shalom to you which were afar off, and to them that were nigh. Keep going. Keep going.
All right. No, that's good. So before we get into these scriptures, breaking down Ephesians chapter 2, the main thing that stand out to me, remember what she just read, says the Messiah come to bring peace. Who is he bringing peace to and why? So a lot of people miss these things. And also it says he come to reconcile both. Remember in Ephesians 2 and 16, to reconcile both. Now, who is he bringing to and who is he reconciling? Sister Jill, you got anything you want to say on this? Sister Jill, you got anything you want to say on this?
I'm sorry, I was having a hard time. This is a new laptop. I couldn't unmute myself.
Uh-oh.
No, I was just thinking about how I guess I can understand how, because it says Gentiles, that people would see it that way. But then, I think about how was this transliterated over time? And was this word replaced with another word? But it still talks about us, Israel. And I think that did you want me to, were you talking about the whole, everything I read, or just
the whole everything you read? Everything.
Well, okay. And so the other thing is, if he's saying in another scripture that I only came for the lost house of Israel, he's not going to contradict himself here to say that it was for somebody else.
Wow, I forgot to bring that out, Sister G, but that was in my mind. That's a good point. Okay, that is a great point. Now, let's start with the history. Let's start with the history of what happened to Israel in the northern kingdom. This is what we're going to start in. We're going to look at 1 Kings 12, verse 16, 17, 18, and 19. We're going to find out what is Ephesians 2 talking about. We're going to find out why is Jesus coming to bring peace.
You want me to start reading?
Yeah. 1 Kings 12, verse 16, 17, 18.
Okay. Let me just pull it up really quick. Okay. So when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, what portion have we in David? Neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your tents, O Israel. Now see to thine own house, David. So Israel departed unto their tents, But as for the children of Israel, which dwelt in the cities of Judah, Rehoboam reigned over them. Then King Rehoboam sent Adoram, who was over the tribute, and all Israel stoned him with the stones that he died. Therefore the king Rehoboam made speed to get him up to his chariot to flee to Jerusalem. So Israel rebelled against the house of David, and unto this day. And it came to pass when all Israel heard that Jeroboam was come again, that they sent and called him unto the congregation, and made him king over all Israel. There was none that followed the house of David, but the tribe of Judah only.
Wow. So we see here the split. That's what we're reading about, the split. And the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom had problems. I'm not going to go into the prodigal son today. Brother Bayard got a whole lesson coming out about this, so I'm just touching on it. But if you go into the prodigal son, you will see that the prodigal son is talking about the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom, which a lot of people miss. So we see the split that's happening right here. It plays a very, very, very close part in Ephesians chapter 2. Because remember what she read. The Messiah come to bring peace. To come to bring peace to who? Who was mad at each other? Who was upset at each other? He come only for who? Remember you said Matthew 15:24, the lost sheep, the house of Israel. So we know right there off top who he's come to bring peace for. Now let's go to 1 Kings, same chapter, verse 12, 28 to 30.
Okay. Whereupon the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold, and said unto them, It is too much for you to go to Jerusalem. Behold thy Elohim, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. And he set the one in Bethel, and the other put he in Dan. And this thing became a sin, for the people went to worship before the one, even unto Dan. And he made an house of high places, and made priests of the lowest of people, which were not of the sons of Levi. And Jeroboam ordained a feast in the 8th month, on the 15th day of the month, like unto the feast that is in Judah. And he offered upon the altar. So did he in Bethel, sacrificing unto the calves that he had made. And he placed in Bethel the priests of high places which he had made.
You see what Jeroboam them did? They was disobedient to the Most High. They started to do what? Worship idols. This is the northern kingdom. So what I'm doing is letting people see what happened to the northern kingdom. The northern kingdom was completely cast out. Now, so they became what? Not a people. And also at the end, we became sort of what's not a people in 70 AD when we was cast out of of Jerusalem. But however, he kept his covenant with us. This is why he said, he would never leave us or forsake us. A lot of people, when they say that, they think it's talking about everybody. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. So now, the reason we go into verse, I like to go to verse, because I don't want nobody to say, Brother Kadar said this, or Sister Jill said this. The word saying these things. So the next verse we're going to go to is Jeremiah 7, verses 13 to 16. And we're going to see what it says about the northern kingdom in this.
And now because you have done all these works, saith Yahuwah, and I spoke unto you, rising up early and speaking, but you heard not. And I called you, but you answered not. Therefore will I do unto this house, which is called by my name, wherein ye trust, and unto the place which I gave to you and to your fathers, as I have done in Shiloh. And I will cast you out of my sight, as I have cast out all your brethren, even the whole seed of Ephraim. Therefore,
stop right there. The whole seed of Ephraim, talking about northern kingdom. He cast them out. They became not a people. All right, keep reading.
Therefore, pray not for this people, neither lift up cry nor prayer for them, neither make intercession to me, for I will not hear thee. Seest thou not what they do in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem? The children gather wood, and the fathers kindle the fire, and the women knead their dough to make cakes to the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto other gods, that they may provoke me to anger. Do they provoke me to anger, saith Yahuwah? Do they not provoke themselves to the confusion of their own faces?
Wow. So we see here that the Most High is talking to Jeremiah. He's getting an example. Man, if y'all can get it right, y'all gonna end up like Ephraim, cast out. So we know Ephraim was cast out as a people. Now, we're gonna do a little stop here. Now, by reading these scriptures, Sister Jill, do you see where I'm going with this? Do you see where we can see that the northern kingdom was cut off? We read that, you read that, and cast out as not a people. But remember what you read. He says that he's reconcile both of them back to God. So we know off top in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 16, what do the word reconcile means?
To bring back, to
okay.
return.
So to be returned, that means you had to be under the law. Continue. Sister Rachel said, daughter, it's a continual process. So to be reconciled is the same thing what you said. You know, just like, in other words, if I go out here and say, I'm going to buy a car, I can't say I'm going to reconcile to that car because I never had it, another car. Or if I go out here and say, I'm going to buy that house back, I'm going to reconcile because I used to have that house. Whenever we're talking about reconcile, that means you had to have some type of relationship, some type of agreement, something. You can't just say reconcile and you never had it. So my question is to anybody, did the Gentiles have any type of relationship with the Most High?
No.
Before we go on, let's go to, you're right. Let's go to, I'm going to go on. Should I freestyle and do this? Let's go to Isaiah 40 and 17, I believe. Let's see if I can get this right. I might mess up. That's right, Sister Rachel. No. Let's go to Isaiah 40 and 17.
Okay. All nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing in vanity.
Okay. What do the word Gentile means? Nation. So what did he just say? All nations before him as nothing. So we know when the northern kingdom was cast out, they were nothing. So we know that the Gentiles they was not given the law. We know this because it's what he said. Now let's go to Psalms 147, verses 19 and 20.
Psalm 147, verses 19 and 20. Okay. He showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He has not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahuwah.
Wow. Oh, so you mean to tell me that when we read Ephesians 2, when it says Gentiles, either the Bible contradicts itself or God changed his mind? Now, the Bible the scrolls, may so speak, do not contradict itself, and the Most High didn't change his minds. It's a seed of deception when you see that word Gentile, because somebody's trying to add their self in there. Remember, Gentiles mean nation. So in case when Paul is speaking to Ephesus, he's talking to a nation of people? Wow, he is. And that nation of people is Israel, the northern kingdom. And we're going to get all down in that because the whole New Testament is talking about bringing the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom together. That's what it's talking about bringing. Now, let's go back to Ephesians chapter 2. Let's get to some points there that you read. We're going to get to right in it. And so I meant to put this, what's the name, see if anybody want to come on online. But well, let's go to Ephesians chapter 2 first.
Which verse you want me to start at?
Hold on, let me get there. I'm trying to go there too. Let's go start at so let's start at verse 14. Read verse 14 first.
For he is our shalom, who has made both for one, and has broken down the middle wall of partition between us.
All right, right there. Let's start right there. So, if anybody on here, when she say shalom, it means peace. So, you might have some Christians on here, somebody, ain't used to Hebrew language. So, if y'all heard what she read, it says, for he is our peace or shalom, who have made both one and have broken down the middle wall of partition between us. What is that talking about? Well, let's go over the let's find out what that's talking about. Let's go over the Ezekiel chapter 37. We got to find out what wall, what is he breaking down? Is it a wall between the Gentiles, the Gentiles in Ephesus or any other places? Or is it a wall between Israel, the southern kingdom, and somebody else? So let's go to Ezekiel 37, sister. Queen, sister. Yeah.
Verse 1.
No, let me see. Let's go up to we want to get right to what this is talking about. I hate to do it this way, but I know you probably tired of reading. So
no, I don't mind. It's okay.
Let's okay, let's start it. I'm trying to get to the point when it's talking about the two sticks. Okay, let's start at verse 13, and we keep reading up. God.
All right.
Verse 12. Start at verse 12.
12? Okay.
Yeah.
Therefore prophesy and say unto them, thus saith Yahuwah, behold, O my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come up out of your graves and bring you into the land of Israel. And ye shall know that I am Yahuwah when I have opened your graves, O my people, and brought you up out of your graves, and shall put my ruach in you, and ye shall live, and I shall place you in your own land. Then shall ye know that I, Yahuwah, have spoken it and have performed it, saith Yahuwah. The word of Yahuwah came again unto me, saying, moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it for Judah, and for the children of Israel his companions. Then take another stick and write upon it Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel and his companions. And join them one to another into one stick, and they shall become one in thine hand. And when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, wilt thou not show us what thou meanest by these? Say unto them, thus saith Yahuwah, behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel his fellows, and will put them with him, even with the stick of Judah, and make them one stick. And they shall be one in mine hand, and the sticks whereon thou writest shall be in thine hand before their eyes. And say unto them, thus saith Yahuwah, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whither they be gone, and will gather them on every side, and bring them into their own land. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel. And one king shall be king to them all, and they shall be no more two nations. Neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms any more at all.
All right, start right there. Sorry about that. So, y'all heard that? Then we go back to Ephesians chapter 2, right? Remember, he said, I'm going to take one stick and put them together. I want everybody to get that. And he says, Ephraim will not what? Hold on, have we got there? When it say that part? Oh, I stopped before that. Ephraim shall not vex Judah. You shall envy Ephraim. Did we go there? Let me see.
I think I stopped at 22.
I think you went there. Ephraim for a house of Judah companion. Okay, now I know it's right. Let's go back to Ephesians chapter 2.
Okay.
We're doing the back and forth because we want people to understand this prophecy is talking about the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom. So Ephesians chapter 2, go back, start at verse 14.
Okay.
It says something in verse 14. Now I'm going to stop it when I'm saying, yeah, go. There you go, brother. Shalom, brother Eric. Go ahead. You can read, but.
Okay. For he is our peace, who has made both one and has broken down the middle wall of partition between us.
All right, stop right there. Now remember, he said, take one stick and put it in their hand. They take another stick, and that becomes one. That right there is the breaking down of the wall, because Ephraim and Judah were split up, and they used to fight against one another. That's what it's talking about. Keep going.
Having abolished in his flesh the enmity, even the law of commandments contained in ordinances, for to make in himself of twain one new man, so making peace, and that he might reconcile both unto Yah in one body.
Hold up, right there. Stop right there. Reconcile. That right there cancel out the meaning of Gentiles. When you look at that, Ephraim became not a nation. We already went through that. They was cut off. They was called a nation. I mean, they became not a people. So now he said, I'm going to reconcile both. How can you reconcile both? They had to be with the Most High from the beginning. Only Israel was with the Most High. I'm pretty sure everybody know that. This is why Ephesians 2 is talking about the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom. Wow, right there. So when people read that, they automatically say, oh, it's talking about Christians. That's not true. Christians was never part of the new covenant, the old covenant. And we're going to see with this last scripture that they are not part of the new covenant. Only Ephraim, which is Israel, and Judah, the southern kingdom. So, anything else you want to say? You want to say something about that? Matter of fact, let's give Brother Eric son. I know he got something he want to say. Brother Eric, go ahead.
Shalom. Now, if you want to finish it out, go ahead. After you get done, I want to look up the definition of the word partition. Thank
you. Okay. All right. So, sister, you got something you want to say on that?
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right. Keep reading there. You remember why you stopped at?
No. Oh, wait. I think I stopped at 17, so I'll start up at 18.
Okay.
For through him we both have access by one Spirit unto the Father. Now, therefore, ye are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints and of the household of Yah, and are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Yahushua himself being the chief cornerstone, in whom all the building fitly framed together groweth unto a holy temple in Yahuwah, in whom ye also are builded together for an habitation of Yah through the Spirit, through the Ruach.
Okay, so you notice she read, it says that you are no more strangers. They became strangers when they was cut off as not a people. Remember, he said, I'm reconciled both. You cannot reconcile nothing. They had to be with the Most High from the beginning for you to be reconciled. That's one thing we got to keep in mind. So now let's look at the deception of Romans 9:25 and 26.
Can I ask a question really quick about this? Okay,
Go.
where it says strangers, he says, you therefore are no more strangers. So it sounds like when he was calling us strangers, he was equating us to the Gentiles that were living wickedly because we were following along with what they were doing. Is that why he called us strangers?
Yeah, the book of Hosea said Ephraim has mixed with the people. Hosea 7, I believe. So, yes, that's exactly why. The northern kingdom, what did they do? Mix with the people, mingle and mix with the people. They became what? Strangers, because he cut them off. If I'm not mistaken, I think that he came to the point to say he hated the northern kingdom at once. Now, don't quote me on that. I believe so. If I can find it, I'll show we get that verse. Huh?
Is that in Jeremiah? Because we did more, the northern kingdom did more detestable things, right?
Yes, northern kingdom basically went wild, y'all. They went, hey, they said, forget the statute, laws, and commandments. This is why Judah was so mad, because through the Hamashiach, the Messiah, the northern kingdom was able to come back in. See? This is why Judah was like, man, come on, man. We stood the test of time. You know, we was here. But the northern kingdom went off. They went and made their own kingdom, and they kept on, didn't keep the statute, laws, commandment, didn't honor the Most High. That's why was that Rehoboam caused them to start to worship other gods, and they went in slavery, and that's what happened to them. They was cast out their own land. So let's go to see anything else you want to say about that, brother? You sure you ain't got nothing on that?
Well, you brought up the deception of Genesis 10, and we talked about that before. You know, that's one thing that we need to stress to correct with our people and with everybody, because when we read that, a lot of people are under the impression that the sons of Japheth are the Gentiles, or that the Gentile seed is the sons of Japheth. And that's a deception, because Gentiles mean nations. And if you read Genesis 10 closely, it's not even really telling you that the sons of Japheth are the seed of the Gentiles. It's telling you that by the sons of Japheth were the isles of the Gentiles divided. But we're taught to read that as if that's saying that the sons of Japheth are the Gentiles. And we know that the sons of Japheth are equated to the European nations. So when you get to the New Testament and you see that word, you automatically think Japheth seed. And that's something that we've been trained to think, and we got to come out of that. And one more thing I want to bring up, but this will be after you finish your point with that Ephesians 2, when it talks about the wall of partition. Okay. That term partition needs to be defined and looked up as a means to bring a better clarity to that text, because that'll bring it all around as to what it means by a middle wall of partition that has a certain meaning to it. But that's really all I wanted to say.
Okay. Cool. That is so true. We're gonna go to Romans 9:25-26. But somebody, what in the world is this? Love fakes XYZ online strips.
You don't have a mod in the chat?
Yeah, brother Yashadik, is you still on here? I don't see Bombo on here.
But you can block those too.
Yeah. Go ahead, and that's what I'm gonna do. I don't know what that is. I don't want to open it up and see neither. Okay, yeah, let's go. Romans chapter 9, verse 25-26. We're gonna go there and watch this deception, y'all. See that, it really tricks our people, to not the ones that are awakened. Then again, I take that back. Some of us awakened, we'll get tricked by this. I don't know why, because Paul is coming from a Hosea chapter 2. So Romans chapter 11, I'm in chapter 9.
You said Romans 9?
Yeah, somebody said, yeah, Yakadink said, I get them, but they determine. What? Yeah, Romans 9, verses 25 26.
All right. And he said also in OC, I will call them my people, which were not my people, and her beloved, which was not my beloved. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, you are not my people, there shall they be called the children of the living Elohim.
Okay, is that Romans 9 you read?
Yes.
Okay, I might have started too farther down. Let me see. Yes, Romans. See.
Did you want 9?
All right, Romans 24. Start at 24. I'm sorry.
And you go back
Romans
to 20, all the way to 26 again?
Yeah. Now listen to this deception.
Even us whom he has called, not of the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles. As he said also in OC, I will call them my people, which were not my people, and her beloved, which was not beloved. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there shall they be called the children of the living Elohim.
Wow. Now let's go to Hosea chapter 2. Start at verse 15. Go down to 23. Verse 14 to 23. Now this is where Paul getting the prophecy from. But all of a sudden it turns to Gentiles. I have no idea why that happened. Well, it's talking about the northern kingdom, but they say Gentiles right there.
Hosea 2:14.
Yeah. Hosea 2, verse 14 to 23.
Okay. Therefore, behold, I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness and speak comfortably unto her. And I will give her her vineyards from thence, and the valley of Achor for a door of hope. And she shall sing there as in the days of her youth, and as in the day when she came up out of the land of Egypt. And it shall be at that day, saith Yahuwah, that thou shalt call me Ishi, and shall call me no more Bali. For I will take away the names of Balaam out of her mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name. And in that day I will make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of heaven, with the creeping things of the ground, and I will break the bow and sword and the battle out of the earth, and will make them to lie down safely. And I will betroth thee unto me forever. Yea, I will betroth thee unto me in righteousness and in judgment and in loving kindness and in mercies. I will even betroth thee unto me in faithfulness, and thou shalt know Yahuwah. And it shall come to pass in that day, I will hear, saith Yahuwah, I will hear the heavens, and they shall hear the earth. And the earth shall hear the corn and the wine and the oil, and they shall hear Jezreel. And I will sow her unto me in the earth, and I will have mercy upon her that had not obtained mercy. And I will say to them which are not my people, thou art my people, and they shall say, thou art my Elohim.
Wow. Now did you see Gentiles in that? While Paul was getting it from Hosea 2. You see what I'm talking about? The deception? Mm-hmm. Yes, this is why Gentiles are deception that's been put in Ephesians chapter 2. Brother Eric, you can go ahead, and I got one more verse to prove that Ephesians 2 is talking to the northern kingdom. You hear me, brother Eric?
Yeah, can you share what I got in the background? Ephesians 2 talks about the middle wall of partition. Mm-hmm. The definition of partition, especially with reference to a country with separate areas of government, the action or state of dividing or being divided into parts.
Wow.
Agreement was reached to partition the country. So a middle wall of partition is talking about taking one country and dividing that one country up into parts, which is in essence what happened to Israel. Israel was divided up.
Mm-hmm. That's what we just got through reading in First Kings 12 and 16, First Kings 28 and 30. Man, wow. Now so, you tell me. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, in essence, the point that I'm making here is that Paul could have used a different term if he was just talking about a division between countries or peoples, but he was being specific, letting you know that there was a separation between a country, Israel. There was a division between the southern and the northern kingdom. That term partition is specifically talking about that. It's not simple. It's not talking about just a separation between countries. It's talking about or people. It's talking about one nation that has had something to divide it up, and that's what happened to Israel.
Wow, and you're exactly right. I tell you what, still getting on here and removing them. But yeah, so
hey, when you block them, if you report them, do it as like it give you options, like offensive to children or something like that. Just pick something like that, when you block them.
Okay.
But long story short, when you read Ephesians 2 and you read about the middle wall of partition, now you know what it's talking about, what Brother Kadar and the sister been bringing out. You're talking about Israel only.
Yes. So yeah, that goes exactly what happened when they was divided up, and wow. I'm trying to Michelle, I was trying to make you a moderator, but I can't get that what's name on there. Okay, let's go to this is the last verse I'm going to. This is Hebrews 8, one of my favorite verses. And this right here, unless the Bible contradicts itself, this proves that Paul could not be talking about some ethnic Gentiles.
Starting with the 8th verse?
Yeah, 8 to 13. Yeah.
Okay. For finding fault with them, he saith, Behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, when I will make a covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith Yahuwah. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith Yahuwah, I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a Elohim, and they shall be to me a people. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know Yah. For all shall know me, from the least to the greatest, for I will be merciful to their unrighteousness and their sins, and their iniquities will I remember no more. In that he said, a new covenant he has made the first old. Now that which is decayed and waxeth old is ready to vanish away.
Wow, that right there proves also we're not fully in the New Testament like a lot of them. But did y'all read nations in that covenant? So, and you read two different tribes. Well, more than that, 12. You read Israel, which is northern kingdom, Ephraim, and the southern kingdom, Judah. You don't read nothing about no nations. Now, how in the world Ephesians is talking about them and they're not in the covenant? Anybody, y'all got anything to say about that?
Well, when you saying nations, are you speaking of all the people, or are you just referring to one particular people? Because when most people go there, that's what they do. They refer to one particular people.
Yeah, I'm talking about that one particular people. But we see that we don't see nothing but Israel in the new covenant.
This also sounds like verse 10, where it says, after those days, say Yahuwah, I will put my laws into their minds and write them in their hearts. It sounds like the awakening to me, because we sinned against God, we rebelled against him, and so we lost the law. And that's why, and then Christianity came in and took the law and said, oh, it's abolished, it doesn't matter anymore. But now that we're coming into the truth, it's like he's putting that law back into our hearts and our minds again.
Yep.
Got anything on that, brother Eric? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That's I agree.
Yes, I agree with that too. The awakening, what we got going on today. This is why we can come off the top of our head with a lot of verses. And you have people that's in these religions saying, how y'all do that? And I'm like, don't you got the rule out? But the knowledge that we come with, I spoke to some people and they ain't never heard of some of the scriptures that we, read and stuff like that in the word. They got the same Bible we got. But, this to me proves that no way that Ephesians chapter 2 is talking about some Europeans, Greek Europeans, basically, because whenever you read Gentiles, that's what basically our mind go to, is Greek Europeans. And a lot of our people, they forget about the Hamites, forget about the Chinese, all these other different nationalities. They go straight to the Europeans, or so-called Japhet people. That's what they go to. And it's sad how when we talk about strangers and people cleaving to us, every time Black people, they worry about Europeans. It's crazy. It's really crazy. The word Gentiles means nations. That means a broader people. It don't mean just the Europeans, but that's what our mind go to.
I'm gonna tell you another thing too, brother Kadar. What's happening when it comes to dealing with the writings of Paul and Peter? When you get to the New Testament, these are the two main apostles that have writings in the New Testament. And what's happening is that when you look at the historical part, a lot of people are not factoring in how scattered abroad our people were during this time, even the Jews. You had Jews and people from the 10 tribes scattered into all of those different regions, where Paul traveled. And so one of the things that I'm gonna do, most high willing, is I'm gonna share with the family the history of Paul and his travels and the things that actually took place when he was in his ministry, because a lot of people believe that he was teaching not to keep the laws and everything. Mm-hmm. And some of the Jews back then even thought that. But that's just a lot of what has been taken out due to how our records been fragmented and dealt with. And so the historical part is what people don't really consider when you're dealing with these records. They think, all the Jews were in one area, but you had Jews in Rome, you had Jews everywhere. Plus you had the 10 tribes scattered, and then who was to say that these were even so-called white people back then during that time? So it's a lot to really consider.
Yes, you're right, because we know that even with white scientists say the first man was melanated. So who's to say that? You're right.
Yeah.
So also, we know it was more than just us in those lands. It was more than other nationality of peoples in Ephesus, in the Corinthians, in Corinth, in Rome. And when you read a book, how you write a book, man, if y'all can, I'm pretty sure, bro. I'm pretty sure both of y'all, everybody in this chat, you read the book of Rome or these. Look at that. He's not writing to no Romans. He didn't say, "Oh, hail Caesar, I want you." I mean, come on, man. He's not writing to them. So when you read stuff like that, when you read these books and stuff that says, it's almost like somebody took and placed the names on the books. You know what I'm saying? To me,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In some
say what?
I say that's what it seemed like in a lot of instances.
Yeah. If I'm going to write to Romans, I'm going to be talking to Romans, not talking to Rome. You see he talking to Caesar in that? Come on. So what I'm saying is that a lot of times, Brother Ben, y'all bringing that out because I didn't want to go into the prodigal son, but that's a whole nother, well, I ain't going to say a whole nother teacher. He goes in what we're talking about. But the main thing is that I want our people to look, even the main thing in Ephesians chapter 2. If anybody tell you no, he's talking to ethnic Gentiles or white people or Europeans, you ask them, Ephesians chapter 2, verse 16 said he's reconciled both. And to be reconciled, that means you got to already be in somewhat in the once upon a time in some type of covenant. And we know that's only happened to Israel. So that's all I want people to say. You got something on that, sister?
No, I'm just taking in what you all are saying.
Anybody in the chat, y'all got something on this? I meant to put the thing in the link, but I got to get up early. Brother Eric, I got to be at work at 5 o'clock. 5:15.
Oh, really?
Yes. That's why I came on early. I said, I'm going to send it because I wanted to go on Salt of the Earth, but I didn't know what you was doing. I thought I'd just send it to you so you come on here. But we got people that's coming out of Christianity that I know. And we got people that's in Christianity that's supposed to be online tonight. So that's why the point is to let them see how we goes to the scriptures. We don't just give you vain opinions that you heard, read one scripture and say, good God Almighty, God said he gonna bring us together. He gonna save us in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 16. We give scriptures so people can learn and understand. But like I tell people, until you find out who the real people is, this is when the Bible comes, the scrolls, what they call the Bible, comes together. Mm-hmm. The puzzle comes together, and you'll just continue. Your life is gonna be, I don't know, I'm pretty sure y'all's the same thing. You'll continue on learning. And it's a reason behind that. Because we get in that wilderness, we're gonna have to get it right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm gonna say this too. When it comes to the awakening, and a lot of us can attest to this. When we woke up, when we heard the truth that we heard resonated in our spirit and caused us to move forward into that truth. The Mashiach said, "My sheep hear my voice." And so when Paul went about preaching, he said that the Mashiach commissioned him to preach the gospel to every creature. So what did this mean? This meant that everywhere he went, he preached the gospel in search of the lost sheep. Mm-hmm. So if our people are scattered amongst other nations of people, and we start to preach the gospel as a means to draw our people in, that truth is going to resonate with the people. That's what the gospel is, the gospel of the good news, restoration of the people.
Bring it out.
Yeah, Israel during that time was scattered. And so, just like us being here, the gospel is preached, or the message is preached. Everybody's going to hear it, but it's not going to resonate in everybody's spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Now you may have some people from other nations who hear it and believe and want to inquire, well, how can I be saved?
Mm-hmm.
That's possible. That's called the cleaving.
And this is the thing. When you cleave, especially now, what we going through, your tail gonna have to go through the same stuff we go through. And this is the stuff about it. Yes, that is true. Other nations on here, anybody on here, you can cleave to true Israel. But then you can find out what we have to go through. You can find out our everyday life once you cleave and accept that HaMashiach. We have to, but you have to cleave to true Israel. You can't accept the HaMashiach, who people call Jesus. I really don't like, but anyway, we can't accept him and hate us, his brethren or sister. And you definitely cannot step on the sister of Zion. I'm going to tell you why. She holds something that nobody else done. She birthed the Messiah.
Mm.
Anything else you want to say?
Mm-hmm. We got some cold-blooded people in Israel, man.
Mm-hmm.
Some all-stars, to say the least.
That's right. The daughter, that's right. That's something that you're right. Sister, you got something you want to say before we get off here?
No, I'm good.
All right, well. I just like to say peace and glory to everybody. I'm glad y'all came on. And remember, if anybody say something to you about the Ephesians 2, even these porn stars that keep coming up on here, you see that? If they want to say something about Ephesians 2 and try to say it's talking to ethnic Gentiles, you asked him, was the Gentiles ever in the new old covenant, or are they in the new? We know off top that's not true. So we know that it's talking to Israel, the southern kingdom, and the northern kingdom. Shalom, peace, everybody.
Shalom.
Shalom.